7:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns. So here, this background on there. No, it's not going to show the background until I let people in, I guess. All right, so I think we're on episode 1242. So first off, it's got 42 in it, so Smeggy will show up. But it also means we've been doing this show 1,200 and something times. Never missed an episode. Never been sick. Every episode's been more than 2 hours long, and that's because of 2A. And they've been 200% more 2A than every other gun chat. So you're welcome. So let's see. Over those years we've been doing this, we have changed the format a little bit. Right now, it's an open format. So unlike the cowards and feebles that have to hide behind the edited, scripted, highly produced stuff that they program during the day, we're a real live chat. So we just throw the link out there like that, bam, and you can click on it. And then what happens is you're in here, and then you're part of the conversation. And or you use your little fingers or other things to wiggle or poke, and that will create letters on the keyboard, or on the screen. And then you use the power of the internet to push those text messages across, and that lets you be part of the conversation on your end of the internet also. So this isn't the movie theater. You're not in a car listening to the radio. You didn't pay extra money for a magazine that you're reading. This is the internet. And that means you have back and forth communication possibilities. So use it and let's have a conversation. I am more 2A than all of you, so I've already been talking for like 90 minutes and I'm sick of it. So we could have a really short show tonight and I would still be more 2A than everybody. So we'll see what happens. Shut up. Good evening.
Good evening. Today I have shifted away from trying to compose one master letter and instead chosen my now 4 kind of not just favorite, but areas that I can relate most to and that apply to me as a citizen most. And so I'm having a good time working those outlines.
I don't like how you come into this show and just start talking about 2A stuff right off the bat. What if we wanted to take it easy and just talk about Christmas or talk about something that isn't 2A? How rude. So yeah, that's cool. So did you listen to any of that stuff? Listen to them ones I was reading there? Or have you read any others? Because I'm thinking if you just dug in and read, you might be amazed, huh? But I don't know, did you either or of that?
Yeah, both.
Yeah, so you're saying that you've done 4 or that you took one and split it into 4?
I just abandoned my I'm going to cover it all in one and split them out. Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm going to do now. There's obviously a lot of potential, and I still think there's lots of advantage here, right? So, I'm going to definitely write a bunch. I'm going to try to do single topic ones, and then I think I'm going to just start a list. Like I already kind of have that bullet list on the PDF thing. Mm-hmm. I can focus that now because after reading a bunch of them and hearing people talk and stuff, I can wheel those down to what I was thinking when I wrote them down. But then there's so many more I can add. And holy crap, like I probably, if I got time, I'm going to try to do that again, except with like a notes, like so I can keep track of like what I want to, like a bullet point list or something of what I want to make sure I hit. Because there was at least 3 or 4 things that I didn't even think about today or before the reader knows.
Me too. Just from what you were reading tonight, and like you, I was so surprised. I mean, to the point of near amazement at the high level of expression in almost everything that you read. And yeah,
Wasn't that?
you kept having to reassure yourself that you had done random polls, and it was like, yeah, we saw you do it. It's just great.
I mean, I'm like, I don't know, I'll just pick some ones off of here. I mean, there's no way I've just picked all the good ones, right? So what it is though is we got an ATF agent or however many it takes to do 22,000 of those things, or a good script, you know, and they're parsing all the crap out of there because that is definitely just blew my mind. Each one, like seriously, there was one of them that was sort of dumb, and then another one I didn't like because of some angle, but like barely like it would just be like eating a piece of like dark chocolate instead of regular chocolate. It wasn't even like eating a piece of licorice or something gross, right? It was like none of those were bad. It's just that if you had to rank them, you could. Like that was it. Like they were all amazing. Some of those little ones were like crazy too. Like one sentence, jab, bam, like wow.
Yeah.
I was pretty impressed.
Totally. And man, it was also great to hear you doing, you know, the triple snap pops. That was just great. Your enthusiasm came through, man, and it was infectious. The text chat loved it.
You can't help it. No, it looked like there was a bunch of Bloomberg plants in there again, trying to like, oh, I know what I can do. Since I can't, I'll go stand in front of people when they're trying to, and that's how I, exist. So whatever. Like I suppose when you get moved out of the way a bunch of times, eventually you figure out you can do more by doing something else. But I couldn't help it, dude. Like I seriously didn't know what to expect. Really, I just needed to make money and I had to get famous. So I was like, I'm gonna go live for sure. And then how can I create the current situation? Oh, I know. I'm gonna read somebody else's work, right? That's the best way to do it. So yeah, I was just expecting. Honestly, I figured there'd be some I guess I'm gonna have to. I don't know. I'm trying to keep track of everything here. First, I expected there to be bullshit, but there wasn't any. Then, not only like you say, how'd you say it? The way that they expressed the levels of something, like, yeah, whatever you just said. Like, I didn't even expect to be expecting that. It literally knocked me off of my fucking ass. As I was reading it, I was like, what the fuck? And then I read the second one and I was like, am I being freaking cranked? Like, I just did this randomly. Like, I can't, nobody could have fed these to me in this order. Yeah, by the third or fourth one, it was just, and then I got immune to it. I was like, okay, this is the United States. I just forgot. Like we are awesome, and this is it. And I just forgot. So after a while, it was not too hard because for a minute there, it was like Christmas. I swear to God, that was my Christmas present right there. That was amazing. I really didn't expect it. I expected to see a bunch of weird stuff by the fuddy-duddies, a bunch of weird shit. And there was maybe one or two kind of weird things, literally. And anyway, so going back to other things, I try and sidetrack off of there. Nothing from Antis. Was there anything there that was like, I can't believe you finally did this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And they have a right to do that. They're not. So I'm not trying to give them any help. But of course, the Bloomberg plants that are in here are going to hear that. But yeah, I mean, there was none of that shit in there. And they're certainly not obliged or going to just remove that stuff. So it's possible that I didn't hit them. I mean, I guess I didn't read all 48,000 necessarily, but randomly. And then what I did is I did some randomly, but I did a bunch just in a row, like sequentially. And I figured sequentially, I can't miss. If there was a good one or bad one, but thrown in there, I mean, they're not going to go to the trouble of saying positive comment, negative comment, positive. There's no reason to do that, so they're just going to be random. But I figure you can't pull 17 cards out of a deck without hitting a face card, right? So like if you just go sequentially, you should hit at least a sampling of at least a little bit of everything. And then I figured going randomly would make sure that there's not just a big stack, like I didn't hit a vein of good ones or a vein of bad ones or something.
Yep.
But yeah, it was really neat. And
it was reduced to a statistical improbability. And by the time you hit, 10, 12 comments in, it was just like everybody is rising to the call and the occasion. And yeah, stupefied.
And it was crazy. So I haven't been doing this all day. I got to do other stuff. So I was trying to do other stuff. And because I did nothing yesterday except talk about this shit. And stupid 2A was messing with my plans. So then, came in and somebody was doing a chat. Was it Ghost was doing a chat earlier? And then I was about to, I think he was live. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to go do this thing, try to get famous and make money or whatever, exploit situation. And then I went over to that place where it was, 22 something, kind of pegged at 22,000 something yesterday. Well, it was at 5,000 when we were live. And then during this show, I think it was pegged at 25,000. I don't know if it's going to go backwards to that. I don't think I'm on the right page. This is the right page. And now it's at 48,000, at least on my window, it's at 48,354. So if we had 80,000 last time, we're like 3 days away from that, according to this rate. Now, what is today, 21?
22.
No, 22.
Yeah.
So that means, one of these days we'll get a big negative, a drop, because no one's going to come in on Christmas, I suspect. But
yeah,
then we're up a couple of days after Christmas, unless they shut this thing down early.
Yeah, it's on pace to far exceed, I think, any of our initial expectations. So, hoorah!
I expect the NFA to be repealed, so that's a pretty big expectation.
I guess the response is so far.
Ozzy's saying I decided to take my bullet points and write a letter for each. One written one, hopefully at least 4 to go. Yeah, I have really no reason to max out or nothing. I'm gonna, like I say, just start. I mean, we got all kinds of time. I'm one of them people. So I'll, it's great that people are jumping in now, and it's obviously not like we're sacrificing quality for anything. Like, it's amazing content of 40. That 48,000 is pure gold. But I just figured, what the hell, like I say, there's not a giant hurry. I'm gonna come up with my bullet points. If I got to write a dozen, I'll write a dozen. If I got to write 2 dozen, I'll write 2 dozen. If I write 10, I'll write 10. But I want to write, because what the hell? Now those can be something. Those can be future shows. I'm gonna exploit the hell out of this situation, right? Those can be future shows. They could be blog posts. Come up with things and then be upset 6 months from now. There's nothing stopping us from making a letter or a response, I guess, a reply to each of our points in a bullet point list, and then making the comment now in the window that they provide, they require, I guess. But then maybe as you're submitting it, make a screen capture video, or just turn a camera on like I do sometimes and just point it at the screen of your computer as you're doing something, or if you're doing it on your phone, I don't know what you're supposed to do. If there's screen capture stuff for a phone, let me know, because the stuff I used to use died. But anyway, make a video of you posting the comment or even writing the comment, but then take that video and schedule it for 6 months from now, or 8 months from now, or 2 months from now, or something, so that instead of just posting it now in this flurry of everybody else's, and all the exploiters right now are making their money on the keywords right now. So we're really not helping nothing, especially when it's not necessary to push it. You're just dropping your stuff into a bunch of trend, and there's no need to continue a trend that's helping somebody else if it's not helping you. So take your response and the video of your response, or maybe even take your response and riff for a couple of minutes on it, rant about why you did it, or riff for pontificate on why you are writing that bullet point, or how you wrote that bullet point, or if you've got a bullet point that you can address 6 different ways, why you did it the way you did, or why you did it all 6 ways, or whatever, right? Like, take that perspective of it, or that piece of content, though, and schedule it off for like 6 months from now. And if you've got 6 bullet points, make them a month apart from each other, and you can just put them on YouTube right now. You can put them on guntube.org right now and schedule them. I don't know if the other inferior video hosting platforms out there allow you to schedule. It's pretty fancy tool. They don't always offer it, or option, I guess. They don't always offer it. But when they have the option on YouTube, do it. And then what happens is, number 1, you got content. Number 2, it's valid because you had that same opinion. It's a time capsule, so you get to see if you have the same opinion 6 months from now. It gives you a little help 6 months from now. You're giving yourself help, right? So now you've got an extra video out there that you didn't have to do. And if you're flush with videos out there, then you can shift them all, or just have an extra one that week. And then it lets you, like I say, be a time capsule. You can go back and reevaluate your opinions on stuff, see if anything changed. Maybe call some shots. Say, hey, I'm going to be posting this 6 months from now, and here's where I hope we are. And then see if that's where we are. Have some fun with it. And That's the way that we turn the, what do we say? That's how we get lemonade out of this shit. Out of this pile of lemons they're winging at us on Christmas. Like I said, I've been chatting all night. I don't have to keep chatting. I've already got fame and fortune off of this. I've exploited it. I haven't exploited it enough. I've exploited it enough for tonight. So unless you guys all got something, like say this is your chat.
I was going to say, you pulled my idea right out of my head of doing a screen capture video. If I could figure out how to do screen recording, I would consider doing something like that. But some of my earliest videos were just photos being leafed through while I did voiceover. And I thought, like Clover on Ghost Show tonight said he's done something like 13 comments. And I'm sure he's probably going to leave at least a couple more throughout the next week or two. So I was figuring, even if I can only leave a handful, my plan was to screenshot them, have them in a little video, put out there, hey, not only did I do my part, but I broke it down into separate comments, yada, yada, yada. But I also like what you're saying, to schedule them out and, go back and almost use them as a time capsule and touch on them later and see if you have the same opinions. And it would be, especially if this doesn't go the way that we are hoping, it could be a good way to look back and say, well, was I on base with the comments I left? Was I touching on the points that they wanted touched on? Or, was I one of those ding dongs that's just screaming, shall not be infringed and F the ATF and all this?
Yeah, I don't think that you're. I don't think that you're going to run into that barbecue. You're conscious. You know what's up, and but yeah, taking a look. 6 months down the road is going to be. I think we're going to be laughing. And yeah, just continuing to encourage people. I've had to modify some of my grandiose plans to be more practical. I was all ready to bust out over to this guy's print shop and have him, throw 4 reams of paper through one of his machines and duplicate a whole lot of stuff and drop it off at a bunch of ranges and gun shops and stuff like that. I might still do 4 reams, but it's not going to be the same kind of thing. I think I'll just try to facilitate others' ability to have like a pre-printed form to fill out. Nothing that I've done except generate something they can fax. And I do have one guy's agreed to do free faxing for anybody who fills it out while they're there. So they have something that's fax mailable and also has all the attendant addresses for online interactions. So yeah, my focus has shifted far away from my original erroneous presumptions that other people needed me to write for them. And tonight's read through was just put the finest possible point on that. The cherry was applied to the sundae. And so if somebody asks, I will. But otherwise, people got this. I need to be more confident.
Yeah, just if anybody's concerned about their ability to write something, or if they don't feel like they've got a position that they can articulate, just to suggest that they read through some of the comments.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're going to get inspired and get some direction, and they might end up digging it and writing quite a few.
Yeah.
So I just had a thought pop into my head. And again, I'm going a little tinfoil hat here, maybe. Do you think it's possible that the ATF did this as a bit of a litmus test to see what kind of resistance they're going to be met with under a Biden presidency from the general public, knowing what they were met with under Obama? And they're just using this as a gauge to see where the community is at right now with their willingness to fight.
Yes, of course. You got two people who are not appointed, who are just temporary. So yeah, they are trying to impress and what do you say? Test the boundaries. 100%. That's why we have two wins here. We're going to succeed in answering their call, their request. Give us comments. You've got them. We've accomplished that. There's a system in place so that you can't run rogue. You have to ask so that you understand the consequences of your intended actions. And we've done that. We've explained the consequences. But additionally, yeah, we've shown them that we're awake, that we're willing to act, and that we've worked together successfully because they saw, from their end, they've seen us work together successfully in, who knows, maybe they think accidentally, maybe it is accidentally. In 2015, they saw us do nothing to the braces. They saw us do nothing to the bump stocks, sorry. And now, if they would have got a dead fish, if they would have got a limp biscuit, is that how you're supposed to say it? If they would have got nothing, if they would have got, mashed potatoes, instead they have experienced a brick wall, and hopefully it'll be the front of a vehicle moving towards them. It won't be a stationary thing that they find, but hopefully they've created awakening something. So yeah, I think that is 100% their intent, and that's why I don't know. I'm hopeful. I can't say I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful that our effort in response will not just give them a response that they were looking for, but what they weren't looking for, what they did not expect. So, you know what I mean? Like every once in a while, somebody's like, is there something in that hole? I'm going to stick something in there. I'm going to stick a stick in there and see if anything's in that hole, right? Every once in a while you do that and something moves when you stick that stick and you hear something, you're like, oh shit, there's something in that hole, right? Maybe the bee flies out or something. You're like, oh crap, there's something in that hole. Well, every once in a while, something grabs that stick and pulls you in that hole and eats your arm off or something. And that's what we need to do. Like, they're going to come poke at us. They got to realize that you don't poke at us. You're there to work for us, not to poke at us.
Yeah, don't poke the bear.
Boss.
Rar.
Yeah. Go ahead. Oh, I thought you were saying something. So I would say, I don't have to keep talking to you guys. Anything else? Otherwise, nobody's out there saying anything. Patriot said that he's got a couple more to write, which is probably good. But that was 24 minutes ago. No, it was 3 minutes ago. I guess it wasn't.
Well, one thing I've been kind of fond of saying recently is something from my favorite Canadian, Neil Young. He said, "Rust never sleeps," and I'm coming more into an understanding of that as I've been kind of overusing it. And now I see that is both sides. It is not just that the attrition of time produces rust, but not exercising your skills as a citizen, as a communicator, as an advocate is equally disastrous, has equally disastrous potential. We can't sleep on either side, and I'm always willing to take fire watch. So I got you on the overnight, guys. Wow, was that just too corrosive?
No, I was typing. I don't even know what you said. Actually, I was typing see if anybody's out there. I'm not tired, but I haven't been drinking coffee today, and I just got done chatting. Seems like I've been chatting forever, but it's because I haven't been drinking coffee, I guess. But yeah, so like I say, I could either drink some coffee and keep chatting, or we could end it because I could also. I haven't had any chance to do any work for days, so both are appealing to me. But you guys are always here to chat. If I ask you, we're going to be sitting here chatting with these three guys that I could chat with, or these two guys I could chat with any night. Or if y'all are out there, then get in here or do something with your fingers. Otherwise, we can just go off here, let these guys chat all night, and I could go do business around here.
Yeah, I'd say I don't have anything.
You guys are in here. You don't have to bring stuff when you're in here. That's the obligation of the people that are just watching, right? Making us dance. We're doing their dirty work for them. They should at least sing the tune. But if they ain't gonna, then we ain't gotta.
I feel like
Plus, I made all my money on the big channel earlier when I got all kinds of views or whatever. So don't get any views over here. They're not saying nothing. I've been moping now for like 20 minutes and they're not saying anything. I guess we're done. Thanks everybody for showing up. We are live every night.